And we have Sheep, aka Lemon, the Taiwanese Protoss player, waiting for the winner of Honmono and Azura. Ooh, Honmono's got nothing but Protoss ahead of him. I'm sure he's going to enjoy that. I'm sure he's going to have a good time. Wish all of his opponents the best of luck against the nonsense that can be Honmono in the TVP matchup. We'll get into that later on as we have our next series. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing himself, currently teamless. Used to go by the ID Gyelzing. If you're an old school fan, old school viewer, then maybe you'd recognize that name. It is ReBellioN. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the young up-and-comer, I mean, it's in his name, the Red Zerg player representing his new team, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is YoungYakov. YoungYakov, a player with a lot of potential, has been on the rise for quite some time. Nowadays, some people have said not so young anymore. You know, at what point does he become, like, adult Yakov? Adult Yakov? Or, like, teen Yakov? Like, what? Young adult Yakov? I don't know. When will that evolution occur? For now, they're still young. Ooh, as ReBellioN, calm down! Delays the gas there, a very cheeky move, very annoying. It only delays it by a second or two, but regardless, ReBellioN just being as annoying as possible with this probe. There's something about these Korean Protoss players, like Stephen Curry does it as well, where they're just a menace with their starting worker. Este ReBellioN. For now, he's just going to be keeping an eye on YoungYakov. Did force the unnatural natural. Meanwhile, back at home across the map, we have ReBellioN going for his gate expand into the Cyber Core. He is settling into his own standard opener. Also, likewise, we'll see what kind of tech structure we go for as well. Again, ReBellioN isn't too much of a cheesy player. He does thrive in the mid game, at least from my experience with ReBellioN. It's great to see him active once again. ReBellioN did kind of step away from the game for a while. He like semi-retired for a couple of months, if not a year. But it's great to see ReBellioN returning. He's back. We've seen ReBellioN and Luna C, two Korean Protoss players, be very active in the Sparkling Tuna Cup scene, and I do always look forward to seeing them improve, as they have been over the past couple of months. Another big name that I want to see more of is Chance. If you remember, we saw Chance on the bracketing Kung Fu Cup a couple of days ago, last week, and Chance took a map off a Classic, and he 2-0'd Goblin. Like, crazy. Like, Chance was popping off, and I'm like, Papi, you're meant to be retired. What's going on? So, I can't wait for Chance to make his return to Sparkling Tuna Cup. It's another Korean Protoss player that I have my eyes on. Until then, it's going to be a Stargate opener for ReBellioN. Stargate into Oracle. Meanwhile, YoungYakov just droning up, trying to keep up with the Adept. ReBellioN going to be shading up onto the high ground and raining down upon the third base. Going to be an annoyance, and so far getting no drone kills. Does get a couple of hits in. Ooh, forces a spore. But a quick trick there from YoungYakov will save that drone. Keep his mineral line safe and sound. Adept gets the hell out of there. And will attempt to escape, but Link speed is about to kick in. We pick off one Link. And the Adept does shade away just in time. Meanwhile, the first Oracle has arrived. Is being sent out. Never mind, actually staying back at home. Interesting. I was curious. I was like, where's the Oracle? Where is it? It was like hiding here at the natural base. Looks like, okay, instead we're going to be using it for high ground vision to pick off that Overlord. Being very careful. Link's going to try and get us around, but the Oracle is protecting that Stalker. Does force those Lings away. This is going to be a bit of a waste of some of this energy, is what I will say, as we otherwise could have used that across the map. The Overlord is going to be shut down, Stalker is kept safe, and the third base is being taken. And do you see what I see? Oh my, what is with the trend today? That's a fast Twilight Council, that's a Gateway Explosion, this looks like Glaive Adepts. I mean, we saw Holden do nothing but this against Mixu, and it feels like ReBellion's going to be doing this as well. Okay. So this does scream glaives. We'll see if that's going to be the case. Meanwhile, YoungYakov across the map, because he lost the Overlord, less scouting information. Right, the Overlord went down. It's going to be less likely for us to confirm what's going on, and there it is. It's going to be 4-gate glaives. Now, just like with Holden, we're going to be building up the adept count back at home before setting it out. First, we're going to be moving out with 5 adepts, 5 vanilla adepts. This is a standard move out. This isn't really too much of a tell. It's only if YoungYakov spots more adepts back at home. But you can see here they're banking up behind the wall, behind the Stalker, being kept hidden. As adepts are going to be rotating around. Rotating back home, we don't quite commit across the map, which I think is a wise choice, because again, this means that these initial 5 adepts will be joining forces with what we're building up. As more and more adepts are on the way across the map, YoungYakov has been making a surge of lings, has joined up to 3-base saturation. But there we go, the adepts have been revealed! He knows. Adepts are revealed to the lings, roaches are amassing. YoungYakov could even try to go for a backstab and hit the 3rd base while he tries to defend back at home. But adepts are on the move, and we do fully wall off that natural. Evo chambers are thrown down. Stasis trap going to be connecting. They're catching a couple of workers at the main and in the 3rd base, and we keep into the shade. And we do shade in. Queens are being targeted one after the other. There's not enough energy for transfuse. 3 queens go down. Did I say 3? A 4th queen as well. Roaches are popping up, but is it going to be enough? Do we have enough roaches? As we shade in towards the natural. So far, 5 drones going down. At the same time, that link counterattack did occur. 6 probes. 6 probes versus the 9 drones so far, as we get more adept shading towards the 3rd base, but they only focus down the queen. But this is still a lot of damage. Still 13 workers going down. Again, a little bit of miscontrol with these adepts. Now we do pay attention. Do try to focus on them. The drones, they came back. No! They came back too soon. Okay, we do pull back. We do pull back in time. 13, now 14 drones going down. But we survive. We do clean this up. That was a good amount of damage. ReBellioN now finds himself with a worker lead. And YoungYakov is rejoining. He is rejoining. This is not as much damage as we saw previously, you know, with 20 plus drone damage or drone kills. Bearing in mind as well that YoungYakov also got 6 probes across the map with his Ling counterattack. So he was able to deal some damage. And here comes that push. Shield battery is done. Blink is not. But we have a Void Ray. Roaches, a dive on the Stalkers. Overcharge is popped, but it's just not enough. Stalker's getting one shot. Ooh, just barely not. And YoungYakov is forced back. ReBellioN does defend, just barely. Does hold on. 4th base on the way. Not spotted by YoungYakov. And we are entering the mid-game. We survived the early onslaughts. We've survived the aggression. We're entering the mid-game. We see YoungYakov saturating his 4th base, getting up to 74 workers. He was delayed by all that economic damage, but he is recovering. Likewise, ReBellioN also working on the next step. Blink, +1. No immortal production. Interesting. No big commitment into robo play, as there is no robo. There's no robo here for ReBellioN. There we go. As it's now going to be thrown down. Right now, just heavily reliant on these Blink Stalkers. We're taking extra gases. We're not going for a 3-base all-in. We are expanding and entering a longer game. Now, it looks like ReBellioN is going to be moving out soon once we deal with this Ling. Just will apply some pressure. YoungYakov, meanwhile, taking up into a Hydroden. Infestation bit. This should be for a Hive Tech. Into eventually Lurkers. YoungYakov, Lurkers are on the mind. We'll see if we can get there. But now Stalkers move out. We have the Void Ray and the Oracles to help support. Stage Trap going to be thrown down, and it's going to be denied. Stasis Trap is denied. YoungYakov expanding towards his opponent. Adepts say shaded towards the right hand side. And we're going for the Nexus. We're going for the hatchery. Oh, that is going to be a cancel. Thankfully, not a kill. At the same time, Ling Rabbi on the right hand side, but we have an adept in position. And we do hold. Hold on. Ooh, Ravager's getting picked up. Yakov has to be careful. Again, this is a delicate dance here with these Stalkers. As we do pick off that Void Ray. Yeah, we do pick up the Void Ray. Ling's a bust into the middle line. There is no shield battery. do warp in time. ReBellioN defending back at home. Immortal production has begun. Second Robo on the way. 4 additional Immortals. There's that hive that we spoke about. And there is that Lurker Den. So again, YoungYakov is working towards Lurkers. Do get the Revelation. ReBellioN looking to push in on the right-hand side. But YoungYakov is in position. Is able to keep up with the movement. Oh my god, did I say double Robo production? Triple Robo. 3 Robos on the way. And Mass Immortal is a way to brute force your way through a line of Lurkers. It's not pretty. It's not too elegant, but it does work. With Immortals, with Archons, you can force your way through. Meanwhile, YoungYakov has maxed out. Diving on the Immortal. Oh, nice target firing. The Immortal goes down. Very nice pick off. Biles not quite going to be connecting. Chargers engaging with the army. But so far, the Hydras are standing strong. We do start to step forward. Going for the Stalkers. Biles do connect. And Lings, they arrive just in time to reinforce. And it looks like YoungYakov is breaking through. Yeah, who needs Lurkers? We did finish the Lurker Den, but we did not even need it as YoungYakov. He's getting on top of the army, breaking through the Stalkers. No splash damage, no Archons, only the 1 Immortal. And without any support, with only gateway units, YoungYakov is able to break through. Gets on top of the Stalkers, takes down a Robo, and will barely take down another. ReBellioN will hold, but at what cost? I'm afraid to look like... Oh my god. ReBellioN bleeding out 31 Zealots, 20 Stalkers, and an Immortal. That was a lot of gas down the drain. He bled out 2 Robos as well, so any kind of big counterattack is not really going to be there. YoungYakov backs off and is taking up... Oh, sorry, he's remaxing, I should say. Meanwhile, ReBellioN, Fleet Beacon. That's why my brain saw. I was like, we are taking. We're going for the Fleet Beacon, Storm on the way. It looks like the goal of ReBellioN is to turtle. The goal here at this point is to just turtle up, weather the storm, and bring it to YoungYakov. But the reality is that YoungYakov is going to be the first to remax. And he should not be giving ReBellioN the time he needs to recover. As we do waddle in, what do we have? 7 Lurkers. We do siege up. Well, we focus on the Prism. Prism goes down. Lings busts into the mineral line. And we just came in the production. Immortal does fall. And the numbers are just not in favor of ReBellioN. GG gets called, and YoungYakov will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. YoungYakov able to minimize his losses against the initial glaive. Remember, it was 15 drones going down, which was a lot of workers, but it was also quite committed there by ReBellioN. Did delay so much tech. That's the downside of a glaive build, is that it delays blink, it delays +1, it delays your Robo production, it delays everything else in favor of that push. And ReBellioN just did not do enough. Likewise, YoungYakov was also very quick to re-drone and then work towards his push, able to break ReBellioN before he could get into his Robo production. Remember, we were a little bit terrified seeing all the Robos thrown down for ReBellioN, seeing the potential triple Immortal production, but he never got there, right? As the Robos finished, that's when YoungYakov pushed. YoungYakov was able to max out, able to camp the production, able to shut down those Robos before they could really impact the game and really support the army of ReBellioN. GG. GG, well played. Oh. Here we go. Holding the line. Aye, aye, aye. Here we go. We're getting ready and diving into game number 2. Zerg player able to survive the aggression of ReBellioN in game 1. But what do we have in store for us here in game number 2? Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Site Delta, we have our South Korean Protoss player. The blue Protoss representing himself, currently teamless, but down in this series. Can he bounce back? It is ReBellioN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0, 1 game away from making it into the semifinals. It is YoungYakov. go. Whew. So again, YoungYakov is the Zerg hope of the tournament. You know, this week there is no Wayne, there is no Eba, there is no Fiant. I saw you in the chat, Fiant. I was like, and Mixu did fall earlier, so YoungYakov is the Zerg representative remaining in Sparkling Tuna Cup. Can he make a deeper run? Can he go the distance? As looking at the bracket, it's just purely Protoss and Terran. Purely Protoss and Terran everywhere else. There's a PvP going on between Holden and Shameless. We have Nickrak versus Oriana in a TBT. We have Sheep, who's a Protoss. We have Sheep, who's Lemon, who's a Protoss. We have Homono, who's Terran. Azura, who's Protoss. And Yakov is the last reigning. Forge? Cannon Rush? Wait, what? My apologies. We are setting up for a Cannon Rush here. Pylons being thrown down. ReBellioN popping off. And YoungYakov does spot this. He does spot this. With the Overlord, pylons have been thrown down on the high ground and on the low ground as well. The goal here to throw down cannons to be able to apply pressure to the hatchery and to seal YoungYakov off. There we go. We forced the cancel. That's all we were hoping for. Hatchery is cancelled. YoungYakov forced to expand elsewhere. ReBellioN gets eyes on the second gas, guys. So this looks like we're rushing to Roach. Yeah, I mean, there it is. Roach Warden's on the way. Another cannon being thrown down on the high ground. And can ReBellioN survive the monster that he's created? What do I mean by this? YoungYakov is rushing into Roaches. Because of what just happened, because of the denied expansion, we're rushing into a second gas, into a Roach Warden, into Roach aggression. You made me do this. It's what YoungYakov is screaming right now. You turned me into this. I didn't want this, Bob. You didn't want this. And there it is. Roaches are amassing. Could soon be morphed into Ravagers, I imagine, as well, once we have the gas for it. And back at home, ReBellioN throwing down the cannon, the gateways, Cybercore as well. Stargate is going to be delayed because of the delayed Cybercore. Oh boy. We'll see if ReBellioN can defend as the Ravagers are being morphed in. Now, these layers of cannons will buy a lot of time. They're going to buy a lot of time. The Cybercore will finish, which means we can throw down that Stargate. I'm curious if we go for the Stargate or the Robo response, but it should be a Stargate. As the cannon is going to take 3 volleys here to go down. As it will be shut down. We can shut down the pylon as well. There's still the cannon on the low ground that we have to respect. This is being piled. Lings are amassing. Ling speed is done. Pylon has fallen. Ooh, and now we're busting out. Now we're sending it across the map. As we are flooding Lings. No more drones. Cutting worker production at 20. And it's all or nothing for YoungYakov across the map. What do we have to defend? We have a wall of pylons, cannons, shield batteries. Cybercore is done, working towards Warp Gate. No Stargate, no further tech, just a gateway army. Just Stalkers and cannons. Is that going to be enough? YoungYakov is amassing his army. Moving out. 4th Ravager on the way. 4th and 5th Ravager as well. We have high ground vision with the Overlord. We can then lay siege upon the site defense, upon the gateways even. As what do we have to work with? We have 3 Stalkers and 1 Adept so far. Warp Gate still not done. There's no other production buildings in the main, so if these gateways do fall, that's going to be it for the production. And with that being, we get the surround! Oh, a brutal moment. 1 Stalker gets surrounded, so will the other as we dive on top of the shield battery. The overcharge is not going to impact this fight. It gets shut down. And YoungYakov, he busts into the natural. The Stalkers fall, the cannons as well. The boys are putting in a lot of work. The probes, oh my god. They surround the Ravagers. Not a bad defense so far. We lost a lot, but the Ravagers got shut down, and suddenly, I mean, this push doesn't really have too much behind it. We have the Queen waddling in. Stargate's on the way. Gateway explosion as well. As ReBellioN was banking minerals. Was banking resources. We have the sentry we can force field. Speaking of, a bit of a premature force field. But it gets thrown down. The pylons! Ooh, they're stacked together. Some Artosis pylons here. Boys are being pulled. Shield battery trying to keep one alive. But we do break through. The Artosis pylon, everything gets depowered. Not like this. +1 is denied. The Miles. Yeah, some decent connections, but overcharge is what we are barely holding on. In the main base, gateways are just finishing, but we need to warp in. We need those reinforcements. The defense is not over. Not yet. Pylon gets shut down. The Lings are flooding in, and gateway falls as well. ReBellioN supply blocks. No shot. 5 pylons on the way. Now is not the time. The supply block is brutal. There we go. We get a big warp in of Zealots into the natural. Warping in whatever we can. And Shield Battery is going to be shut down. The Lings flooding in. +1 is not going to finish. Void Ray will help. Void Ray's on the way, but it might just be too little too late. So you dive on that Cybercore. Cybercore goes down. Only Zealots can be morphed in. We're getting on top of the Queens. Ooh, but the Stalkers are surrounded. A brutal moment there for those Stalkers. Nice repositioning here from ReBellioN. Ooh, Biles connect. Void Ray rise the Biles. Ooh, Biles connect as well. The Void Ray takes too much damage. And the Void Ray is going to go down to the Queen. Yeah, rough positioning there from ReBellioN. As we focus down the Forge, and we have broken through. There's nothing left. GG gets called, and YoungYakov takes the series 2-0, barely punishing ReBellioN for the cannon rush, barely breaking him, and advances on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. YoungYakov will break through in the end. Initially, it was a good hold. Initially, I was impressed with ReBellion's ability to defend and to hold on against the first wave, to get the surround on those Ravagers. But we got supply blocked, and we also lost our gateways. Our macro slipped. Straight up, our macro did slip. ReBellioN was banking almost 1,000 minerals in that initial defense, which means he just wasn't ready for the follow-up there. The supply block was brutal. No additional gateways, no warp-ins. Like, the defense there was a little bit lacking from ReBellioN, and YoungYakov punished him for lacking that production and that supply. Did punish him in the end. GG, well played. Congratulations. YoungYakov is the first to advance on into the semifinals. And the question becomes, who will face off against him? Who will face off against YoungYakov? As we do try to catch up on all of our results. Here we go. Okay, !B in the chat. We've had very little time to breathe so far in this broadcast. It's been back to back to back, match after match.